Okay, welcome everybody to turndogmillionaire.com. Thank you for joining me today. I've got an interview today with Heidi and Guy from CODOC. I came across these two wonderful entrepreneurs on Virgin Media Pioneers, and if you've yet to check that website out, you should, because there's some truly innovative and some fantastic ideas on there. I'm part of that community now, and it's like I say, it's where I came across Heidi and Guys. So to start things off, guys, would you say hello and give us a quick overview of yourselves and CODOC?
Hello.
Hi.
Hi guys. CODOC. So, Heidi, go.
Well, first of all, I'm Heidi, and this is Guy. And CODOC is an creative media platform. We make documentaries, we make web videos, and we do all things creative that we upload up on our website as well.
Yeah, you guys should check it out. It's purely for, I guess, an online generation, just connected to the web in all sorts of ways. And I guess that comes across in the kind of content we create. It's for the connected generation. So if you're around, check it out.
Fantastic. The thing that caught my eye when I did it was you did a pitch to Mr. Branson himself regarding the layered video. So do you want to give us a quick overview about what that idea entails?
Okay.
Well, layered video, I think we've been working on this project for a long while now. It kind of had the seed a good couple of years now in terms of how far we can push journalism, I guess, and the kind of stories you want to tell, both creatively and contextually. We found it, and this is a problem that most people have when it comes to web video, how much they can cram in to what's called the attention economy online, where you have up to 3 to 5 minutes at a stretch to convey your message and what you want to tell in the story, what you want to put across to your audience online. 3 minutes is not a long time to cram in as much information as you want, especially if you want to make it a story, you want to make it aesthetically engaging. So we came up with the idea of layered video, which is essentially layering on top of regular video semantic information and media. So mapping images, text. We've come across a technology where we can layer this information on top of each other. So it doesn't restrict you in terms of the length of the video. The video can still be 3 minutes, but on top of that, it makes it deeper instead. It's based on a HTML5 framework, and it's something we've been concocting in our offices for a long while. And right now we're at the prototype phase, and that's when we revealed all to Virgin Media Pioneers for this competition.
It's a fantastic idea, and as a writer myself, I liken what you're doing with the idea of social reading, how now you don't even just have to read a book because you're reading it in an ebook, you're able to click through to links, you're able to click through to another part of a story, maybe online or maybe in a video with the author. And brands and individuals are going to be able to do the same with layered video. Go on, watch a music video on YouTube, but then click on a link to be taken behind the scenes. Is this the sort of thing that you envision, or is there other things behind it?
I mean, yeah, it's at the core. It essentially renders much like text in all the websites. Any text can be rendered into a hyperlink to something else. What Kodak Player does, it renders every frame of the video into a hyperlink. So essentially, anything you see in your video can be clicked on, can be interacted with, and can lead you on to something else. The challenge, though, is to make it enhancing and not distracting. YouTube does a similar thing, kind of, where you can have hotspots on your video and you can click it, but the problem is it's not very aesthetically pleasing, and also it kind of creates this rabbit hole effect where you can kind of keep clicking and you end up reading about something random where essentially you still wanted to keep you connected to what you originally went to the site for. For us as storytellers, our role is to tell a story, and the challenge for that with layered video is to make sure that that story element is still contained within something that is comprehensive and contextual. It doesn't kind of meander into something that you probably wouldn't want them to see, it keeps you within the context of for in terms of why you connect in the first place. So there's challenges as well, and that's something we're really looking into
Yeah,
currently.
and like I mentioned, that there are other examples out there, like for example, what YouTube does, but it's not really even close to what we do, because what YouTube does is you click the link, and it actually opens up another tab, and that's something that you can see on other websites as well. That you have a, you know, after videos played, maybe there's a link, click this link, and you open up another tab. The technology we're using and what we're developing actually opens up a window within the video, so the video can keep playing and you can open up a window. So what we use it for example, in our documentaries, it opens up, you can click a portfolio of a person or biography, and you can open up the full interview within your video, and you can read the full interview, you can watch another interview, you can watch a video within your video basically, and you can also click the website, so you also have the opportunity of going into another tab, but mainly we're trying to keep them within the same video. So we're not trying to open up any more tabs or windows. So we're just trying to keep it in that one space.
Yeah, it's all very cool. We just kind of get goosebumps talking about it, because the idea is pop-ups break your kind of concentration. It breaks your connection to the message and the story that you're trying to tell. What we want to do is create something within a space where the video is textured and enhanced in a way that really supports the engagement, supports the connection you have to the story you're listening to.
It's absolutely. I mean, I'm someone who's massive on telling stories. I enjoy helping brands being able to tell a story. When I do my writing, I like to tell stories. For me, life is all one big story. So the more you can sort of keep people involved and in one place and enhance something, the absolute better. So who do you see using this kind of technology? Have you got a particular target in mind, or do you see it going forward into many realms?
Well, we're gonna use it for our web channel that we're developing at the moment called CODOC TV, and it's gonna be the first factual layered web channel. So all the programming we have, which will all be factual programming, documentaries, investigative documentaries, and behind the scenes things, they're all going to be layered. But we also see huge potential in using layered video for entrepreneurs, for in education, for journalists, for example. That's another big area, and charities as well can layer their web videos and actually make the donate buttons, for example, clickable, which will make things like web videos a lot easier. So we see a lot of potential in different industries, but the reason we started developing it was purely for CODOC TV.
Right.
I mean, as you said, I mean, stories kind of, it pervades all kinds of areas. We see the potential for layered video in a number of fields, and things like what Heidi talked about, education especially. It kind of sparks fly when we come across educators and teachers that have a look at our prototype and think, wow, I can use this for this. Same deal with entrepreneurs as well. I mean, we really think that this has the potential to change the way companies and organizations communicate to their customers in all fields, and it's really open to anything.
I think it's a fantastic concept, and I can imagine there's a lot of advertising execs who would rub their hands the idea of product placements in music videos and videos where you can open it up and buy a laptop there and then on the actual video. I'm guessing that sort of thing is possible too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Fantastic. Well, we'll come back to layered video again in a second, but you originally started off as more of a production company. Layered video may take you down a different route possibly, but how's it been going from filmmaker to sort of now the full-on entrepreneur making inventions?
I mean, yeah, it's funny because I guess the layered video thing came out of just, I don't know. I mean, I guess we were talking about the brand in a sec, but I think CODOC really does stand for innovation. When we talk about innovation, we always try to push exactly what we want to do is tell stories, and because we are open to the wired world, we are very kind of a wired production company, if there's such a thing. We get in conversations with people that you know, most filmmakers don't get the chance to meet. And out of those conversations, I guess, kind of sprung an idea of really how to push that. And I guess the innovation was pushed by the fact that we want to tell stories for, I guess, 21st century. And how do you do that? How do you kind of convey a story, convey a message in formats other than the theatre, other than television? How do you wrap a story around a platform like this, like the computer screen? How do you make that accessible? How do you make that leap? And I guess it really, I guess it really just came out of us pushing against that wall. How do we really kind of break the boundaries? Because it's possible. We knew it's possible. We just had to kind of invent it because nothing existed at the time.
Yeah.
Sometimes the best way to go about it is an issue, something that you want to use yourself, like you said, for CODOC TV, and you've come up with something that might be useful for the world. So always the best way.
Yeah.
Is the filmmaking side of things and creating a documentary? I know that you just had your first feature documentary. Was it a couple of days ago, down in London? Featured.
Oh, it's been screened all over.
Yeah. I mean, the truth wasn't there. It was over a year ago that we released it, but it's been screened all over.
Right.
We've been touring with Amnesty International. We've done 3 US tours so far, and it's been screened around England as well. So yeah, we had another screening a few days ago, actually. Last week.
Last week. Right. Yeah.
I saw it pop up on my Facebook, I think. So.
Yes. That's the one.
So is that still a huge part of things, doing the documentary side and the actual filmmaking, or do you see yourself going in a different direction? How do you foresee that?
I think we really want to hold on to filmmaking because that's what we started and that's what CODOC is all about. I mean, changing lives and changing things through filmmaking. And the reason we are developing the Layered video player is to be used for CODOC TV as well. So we are starting CODOC TV, which is going to be all about documentaries, original content, and all about the same principles that are in CODOC. So I think we're definitely going to hold on to that side, but this is just kind of another exciting byproduct, if I can say so. But it's another kind of exciting side that we are also exploring on the same time. But we definitely don't want to forget about CODOC and filmmaking because that is our passion and that's what we're good at and that's what we do.
Yeah, that's us, and it's what we're good at. And it's what we're not nearly done with filmmaking, nearly done with getting those stories out there. So we're working on a project right now that's been a long time in making. It's had a really long gestation period. It's about to be released very soon.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Well, we'll come back to the future in a few minutes. First, just go on to the brand side of things. I've got to say I love your tagline. I use it on your website a fair bit. I'm assuming you use it elsewhere. The idea of you start campaign, we don't start campaign, so we begin conversations. I love that. So tell us about the story. How did you come about that?
Oh man, that's a story. That really does kind of go to the core of why I guess we create CODOC in the first place. I guess out of the experiences we've had in post-conflict zones around the world, in the few short years we've been around, we've been to post-conflict zones in Sri Lanka, Uganda especially, and I guess we came from a perspective where we consume news and information through various avenues and kind of funneled through various channels. It would be that 24-hour news, 24-hour journalism, the internet, that kind of thing. But more and more, I guess, there are other perspectives out there that can be counter to what you ordinarily hear. And the challenge for people like us who want to tell stories about the world outside, it's no longer enough to tell singular narratives. By what I mean by that, I guess, is it's no longer really feasible for people like myself and Heidi to jump into a place like Uganda, northern Uganda, specifically, and talk about a really complex and nuanced story about child soldiers and horrible massacres that have taken place. hearing these stories told to us by the people on the ground, um, we wouldn't feel, I guess, honest if we came back and told you that this is the way this story went down. This is how life in northern Uganda is, because it's instantly feasible for you to kind of Google stuff straight away right after you saw our documentary, and Google a completely different perspective, which is as sympathetic, as instructive, and as valid. So the challenge right now is that how do we tell these stories to a generation of people who have more access to more information than ever before? I just feel that journalism per se, I guess, is broken to a point where the process in which we tell stories has to change. There's been a tendency recently, I guess, since the millennium, where documentaries have come out that try to tell stories about really important subjects such as global warming, kind of polemic political films that always have a campaign underbelly. So I guess there's a whole number of movies I can mention, but films like documentaries where it's about a social issue, and after which you have a button to click on Facebook, a Facebook page to go connect with, and that spread the word. They do enormous good for the issues that they undertake, and they spread so much awareness, and they get so much good stuff done. But again, you always have to know that filmmaking is a filtered process. And so the framing of the situation, the framing of the social issue has been framed in a way that, is for a particular purpose. And I guess that always frustrated myself and Heidi. We knew that, the framing was that way because it's trying to elicit emotion. The music swells at that particular moment because it's trying to get us to feel a certain way. And I guess it's not just us. I guess it is, again, that generation that is a bit more media savvy. They know the devices that filmmakers like us use to get you to feel a certain way, to engage in a certain way. What we want to do is not to have a campaign underbelly. It's to tell stories, bring it right back to where filmmakers and storytellers really wanted to start. Tell a story that is through the heart, that engages your mind, gets you thinking about certain projects, but leaves it up to you, and in the end really puts the responsibility back on the audience to take a view or not to take a view, to engage in a certain issue or sit back and do nothing. It's on you, because really now there's no reason not to act. And you don't need to listen to us. You don't need to listen to us tell you to go and act on a certain issue. We know what we believe, and this is a story we'd like to tell you. But it's on you. It's on you to act in a certain way. We can't tell you how to do something because you're intelligent people. We're no smarter than you. So I guess that's always the end goal in all our documentaries, from The Truth That Wasn't There to our next Forgive Me Mother. It'll paint the picture and it'll paint the canvas, but I guess we'll leave it up to the audience to make up their own mind.
Well,
what those two lines mean.
It's fascinating. It's fascinating. Very much the best novels in the world. They create a storyline which you can immerse yourself in, and it's up to you to create your own distinctions at the end of it. Really, there's very few sort of novels I particularly sort of like which paints a definitive picture at the end. It likes to leave it open for the audience to make assumptions.
Yeah, I mean the world is complex, and I guess it's about time that stories are out there that paint the world as it is, as complex, nuanced, and grey as the world we see.
So, and the rest of the sort of brand, how you've been going a little while now. You've obviously come up with this sort of brand idea. You've got the emphasis around it. What about the other parts into CODOC? Everything from the logo to why you chose CODOC, the actual name itself. How much of Heidi and Guy are in the actual brand process? How did you get from where you were to where you are?
Well, I think CODOC is very much, I mean, we are CODOC. We've always tried to make CODOC very kind of approachable and transparent, which means we put a lot of ourselves into CODOC, and I think that's very much reflected in the brand as well. In terms of our logos and what the brand looks like and stuff, I think I'm gonna let you answer that one.
Man, yeah. The brand itself, CODOC, lots of people ask us what the CO stands for. You know, doc figure, if people figure it's documentary, the CO. It's funny, I think there's been a tendency again for brands to belong, I guess, to us, and we are very much CODOC. I mean, our faces are all over the website. We want to be as accessible and as open with our audience, our community as possible. That's why we're there. We want to make CODOC, the words, what they mean, open. And that means, yeah, being vague. Code doesn't, it'll stand for whatever our community feels like it could. And I guess that's lending the idea that our audience, our community can own that brand as much as we can. The colors themselves, I guess, the gray, I think, retrospect, I don't know if we put this much thought into the colors themselves. I guess we did in a way. I guess it was intuitive in a way. The gray, I guess, could stand for the nuance and the complexity we see in the world. We don't tell stories that are black and white. Therefore, we chose gray.
Yeah, and I think yellow was very much about innovation, creativity, about being out there and being energetic and creative. And I think that's where yellow came from, and we felt like yellow and gray, which is so different, just had that correct balance in terms of what we're trying to do. So I think that's where it came from, but it was very vague, like Guy said. It was very much like when we found it, we thought, okay, this is perfect, but we weren't looking for the colors in terms of what they should mean. We just found it, and we knew that this was CODOC.
I guess in the end, it's always intuitive. Yellow for us stood for that kind of aesthetic thing. I guess any video you see on a website, it has a distinct editing style, and all the documentaries do have that as well. That's very much us. The way we see it, the way we kind of snappily edit our videos. I guess it's to do with that idea of being brash and distinctive. I guess yellow gave us that sense too, and the gray does again stand for that really kind of integral, honest, nuanced approach that we tell our stories from.
Okay, you mentioned community a second ago, and obviously a huge part of what you're doing. You're creating these conversations. We're in a golden age where people are very conversive now. They want conversations. We're in a very social society. How much of a community involvement do you actually want to create? Because for the most part, you'll generally be working, I guess, with sort of fellow businesses to create sort of these documentaries and things, but the end product will be very consumerized. How much of a community do you want to create and involve them in the CODOC experience?
I think we definitely want them to be along with the ride.
Yeah, I think community is very important for us. I mean, we do try to be quite active on our website in terms of writing blogs and making video blogs and keeping people updated on what we're doing. And on our Facebook and Twitter, I think community, it's really important to us to kind of build that community of people who believe in the kind of storytelling that we do and who like this kind of open-ended approach, I guess, in films as well as just what we're trying to do with the brand. In terms of collaboration as well, what you mentioned about businesses and other communities, I think for us, I mean, one thing CODOC could stand for is collaboration, and we are very, very big on collaboration. We love collaborating with other entrepreneurs. For example, you mentioned Virgin Media Pioneers. We've worked with so many pioneers, and we're still working with a lot of pioneers, just keeping in touch, seeing how we can help each other, and with a lot of same with businesses, as well as the communities. I mean, when we have screenings, we always meet people who have ideas of what they want to do in their community, and how if we can help them with filmmaking, or they can help us with an idea. So we love collaborating, and I think that's what we're all about. If you look at our website as well, you've seen we've worked with a lot of different organizations, from charities, NGOs, businesses, as well as just individuals, students, And I think that's really, really important for us. That's something that we want to hold on to, and that's definitely something that's a big part of CODOC.
And I guess CODOC TV will certainly help extend that, because that gives another channel for people to get involved.
Definitely. I mean, one of the programs, I don't want to say too much because this is still, very, very new and something we're very hush hush about for now. But one of the programs we're planning is actually to feature a lot of entrepreneurs around England. So we're hopefully going to be working a lot more with other entrepreneurs and other companies.
Fantastic! It all sounds very, very interesting, and that brings us on to the future. You say that you've got another project which is just finished on the sound of things and on the verge of coming out. You've obviously got LED video, you've got CODOC TV. What can we expect to see from you guys in the next 18 months?
Okay, so in 18 months, well, first of all, like you mentioned, the other feature, we're working on a film called Forgive Me Mother, which was filmed in northern Uganda in 2010. We're hoping to finish that in the next 3 to 6 months. So that's going to be released by the end of the year, and that's going to be sent to film festivals as well. So that's really exciting. Obviously, CODOC TV is our main priority right now. We are working on all the pilots, trying to plan the programming, and we're hoping to launch CODOC TV early next year. So that will be in 2013, and that's one of our big projects. But apart from that, we're always looking for new documentary ideas to work for broadcasters or independently. And yeah, we have a lot of other ideas that we haven't quite worked out yet, so I don't want to say too much about them either.
They're still very kind of nascent, and it's funny because when you first contacted us, we had so many things in the pipeline. It's like, wow, this would be great because we could really talk about a lot of stuff. But now we're thinking, wow, there is a bit too much. We need to chill out. I think after a while, we're like, oh man, we have so many things in the fire, and I think this will be true for lots of entrepreneurs and young businesses, where they have so many things that other people are interested, especially if you have a community who are eagerly awaiting things from you and keep you honest in that sense, keep you kind of on your toes and keep you pushing stuff out for kind of be consumed. It's funny because we've got all sorts of things planned up, especially with collaborations with people like Virgin Media Pioneers. Lots of things going on that end, and that's going to be very exciting to watch. But the thing is, you're along with the ride, like people like you, Matthew, and other people on Virgin Media Pioneers, people who watch us. They'll get to be with us every step of the way, and that's I think part of the unique aspect of CODOC. You don't have to wait. You can kind of give us an email and ask us, what's going on with this? Because people do this all the time. People say, Facebook us saying, oh, this is great, but what about this idea you had ages ago? Get that done, because I'm waiting for. So when every time people ask us, what have you got in the pipeline? We come back and say, well, here's the stuff. Here's what we're working on, and they'll come back and say, this is really interesting. Could you do this first? And we're like, okay, we can fit it in.
You sound like my cousin. Every time I see him, he's got about another list of 10 ideas, and I just have to sit there going, "Oh God, more!" It's very good, creative mind. Nothing wrong with it whatsoever. So we're coming towards the end now. I can't let you go without asking you what it was like to meet the big man himself, Sir Richard. I spoke to Arnold from Rolly Golf a couple of weeks ago, and he obviously got to meet him. It was a fantastic event for him. As an entrepreneur and anybody with any sort of business savvy about him, it's always one of the go-to people you want to meet. So what was that experience like?
I think it was amazing. I mean, it really was like a dream come true to meet someone who's just so successful and has managed to do so many good things through his success as well. So it was amazing. It was very inspiring. Richard Branson is such a nice man as well. He's so approachable. He's so sweet. He's very, very nice and easy to talk to. So I think it was amazing all around. It was really great to get to actually pitch to him and to get to hear his hear his ideas and get to hear his opinions about what we're working on. So
Yeah, I mean,
it was really, really good.
It's funny. I mean, it's pretty much what you'd think. The one lesson that I think all of us took away, and I think any kind of young business who meets someone like that, and meets Sir Richard Branson, I think the one takeaway that we got was he really does embody everything that Virgin stand for. That's all these companies, and that's warmness, it's friendliness, it's approachability. There's just no kind of pretense, and that was really, really refreshing and really great. And I think that was a lesson that we took away and says, a tip for us, and say, look, we've read all his books, we've followed kind of his journey, know his kind of story inside out, and how he got to be where he is, following that blueprint for us, and seeing where he is now and how he acts, how he interacts, how he kind of puts across that persona. It's a lesson. It's a big, big lesson. And I think everyone who met him took that away too.
Yeah.
Well, very similar things to what Arnold says. So I think anybody watching this should take note, because obviously Richard Branson is doing something right, because everyone's forming the same opinion, which is always good for a brand. So to finish things off, in 3 words, please describe the CODOC brand.
We've been thinking about this. We had some trouble because we had a long list. We put it down to 3. I think the first is innovation. It's one of the reasons we got into the game, because we wanted to change the game. So we wanted to make sure that was front and center of what the brand stands for. So first, innovation.
And yeah, secondly, it would have to be creativity. I mean, we are, in terms of what we do with CODOC TV, with our films, as well as with the delayed video player, I think it's all about creativity. And yeah, finding new ways of doing things, making them look aesthetically pleasing and interesting.
And thirdly, this was a tough one. What does the CODOC brand stand for? I think honesty. It's very difficult in this day and age to have a brand without it being too cosmetic. Because when people think about a brand, they'll instantly think 100,000 brands that are already out there, and they know that there's a process behind this. There's a process behind putting this brand out. For us, the brand of CODOC means honesty. It means completely open and transparent. And if you want to meet the brand, i.e. us, you can, and you probably will. If you give it a shot, you'll meet us and you'll get to know us. And I guess those are the 3 things: innovation, creativity, and honesty.
Fantastic. 3 things I often talk about myself, so that's a good thing to go to, I think. Fantastic. Well, thank you very much to both Guy and Heidi and CODOC for spending a bit of time with me today. Thank you, anybody who's listening and watching this. Thank you for coming along. If you are watching this on somewhere like YouTube, please click through to my site. And below I'm going to place all the links and necessary things to get you through to the CODOC website. So please go through and check out these guys, because some of the videos they have on LED videos and some of the things that they've had done with the Virgin Media Pioneers, absolutely fantastic. So you want to go and check that out, and I think it will be a very interesting story to follow for the next year. So thank you very much for joining us, guys.
Thank you, man.